Okay, good morning, everybody. Good to see you on this Saturday morning. I know we've got coverage going on Fox 8 right now. Wanted to give you a quick update on Facebook as to where we are right now with the storm, with Ida. I think what we've been afraid of the whole time is about to happen. We're about to have some significant strengthening with the storm as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico. Let's begin with the latest advisory, and we'll have a new one coming out at 10 o'clock. Bruce and Zach are going to have that on Fox 8 coming up in about 45 minutes. This was the 7 o'clock position, though, and that indicated winds of 85 miles per hour moving to the northwest at 16 miles per hour. It's category 1, so it hasn't gotten a lot stronger yet. It's about 440 miles south-southeast of New Orleans, but the forecast is for this to still intensify. The thinking is by tonight, Category 1, so that's a little bit slower than the thinking was earlier today and also last night, but there's still the projection this could reach Category 4 by the time it gets into just south of Terrebonne Bay. That would be Sunday at 1 p.m., a 140 mile per hour storm. Now, the question is, what happens at this point in time? Is it possible that we see a turn more to the north, and so we have more impacts, say, in directly on the South Shore around the New Orleans area, or does this continue northwest through Terrebonne Parish and deeper into South Central Louisiana? If that's the case, then our impacts might be just a little bit less, but we're really splitting hairs at this point. By early Monday morning, we can see that it's still a hurricane as it approaches Baton Rouge. So this would be a terrible storm for Baton Rouge, very reminiscent of Hurricane Gustav, possibly even worse than that. Could be stronger than Gustav. And of course, we'll get into what that means for the rest of Southeast Louisiana here in a second. I don't like what I'm seeing on the satellite picture this morning. I don't like what I'm seeing at all. We can see the high clouds, the thin cirrus clouds are fanning out in all directions from the storm. That is telling me the environment is perfect for strengthening, and this has the look of a storm that wants to become a major hurricane. So if there was something out there right now that I thought was maybe holding it down, I would tell you that doesn't appear to be the case. The only good news is that Ida is still moving at a pretty good clip, and Ida has not gotten any stronger yet. But there are clues from the hurricane hunters that may be the case. It's also tracking just a little bit east of the actual center line from the hurricane center. We've got a lot of people on the road this morning. Again, there is no mandatory evacuation for the New Orleans area. If you live within the hurricane risk reduction system, we're not calling for an evacuation. If you live outside the levee protection area, you know who you are. Those mandatory evacuations were issued yesterday. Same for the coastal parishes. Many mandatory evacuations are currently in effect, so follow the orders of emergency management. The green areas are as far as we think you need to get away to avoid any problems. I did have one lady email me earlier today asking, is Alexandria okay? And most likely, yes. That would be on the weaker side of the storm. So Alexandria would be okay. That's kind of right on the edge of that red area we've decided that we've put on there as the areas to avoid for the evacuation. Okay, let's talk about when to be ready. All right, so the tropical storm force winds are most likely going to occur in the yellow areas, and the red area is where we could see hurricane force winds or hurricane force gust. And so we suspect by tomorrow morning, everybody needs to be in place on the South Louisiana coast. That's when those tropical storm force winds, sustained winds, could begin to approach the coastline. The hurricane force winds still offshore. Those begin pushing into the coastal parishes midday, and the worst weather for most of southeast Louisiana is going to be during the day Sunday into Sunday night. So there's 5 p.m. on Sunday, and then we go ahead and we push this a little bit farther inland, and you can see we still are looking at hurricane conditions possible in the Baton Rouge area Sunday night into early Monday morning. Hurricane warnings for all of our Louisiana parishes. If you're in Mississippi, you're under a tropical storm warning. Here's the latest hurricane hunter flying in. Now, you see that red line? That's the official forecast track from the Hurricane Center. The red dots are where the hurricane hunters are finding the center of the storm. So it's basically right on the track of the Hurricane Center, maybe a smidge east of that track, but it's negligible as far as what they're seeing. All right, water temperatures. We know it's going to be tracking over warmer and warmer water, and I saw Zach talking about this earlier. The loop current, it's currently beginning to move over that really deep ocean water where the heat's not just at the surface, but extends well below the surface as well, and that's why we think this storm is going to get stronger. Let's look at the chance of hurricane force winds, and this starts to give you some pretty good perspective. Now, this is quite a bit of a change. All right, now look at this wide map here. This is for the chance of sustained winds of 74 miles per hour or higher. Bay St. Louis doesn't look like it's going to happen, does it? Morgan City, Grand Isle, get ready for a hurricane. New Orleans, hurricane force gust will be possible under this scenario, but that is where the highest impacts are going to be. Lafourche, Terrebonne, St. James, Assumption, St. Mary, and then into Baton Rouge. That's where the highest chance of sustained hurricane force winds are during this event. And so this is also telling me that our 10 o'clock advisory is not going to change much. Maybe half a smidge to the west. Could be just a minor shift to the west, but not much more than that. If we look at our GFS ensembles, you can't see Terrebonne Parish. That's because or St. Mary, almost every ensemble now is zoomed in on St. Mary and Terrebonne Parish. So that still appears to be the most likely area where we're going to have the center cross the coast. Here are the rest of our spaghetti models, and that black line is the consensus model. That is oftentimes what the Hurricane Center follows. Again, that tracks through Houma and also St. Mary Parish, near or just the west of Baton Rouge. So once again, no change there, all lying well within the cone. Our blocking high pressure is holding firm, and that means the chance of some dramatic turn to the east is appearing less and less likely, and appears more and more likely this northwest movement is going to continue through today until it gets to the coastline, and that's when we'll see it slow and begin to turn. We don't want it to slow too much. It should be moving at a fairly decent pace once it pushes inland, but it's going to be around long enough that certainly it will cause some problems with flooding. Storm surge warnings are up for rising water. Right now, the most destructive and highest storm surge appears to be from Grand Isle into Cocodrie and into Terrebonne Bay, but we can also see water 3 to 6 feet surge, 3 to 6 foot surge also in Lake Pontchartrain. Getting ready this morning, most of the rain is offshore in the Gulf. We do have a few showers moving by from time to time, but all in all, not terrible. There's where the hurricane is tonight at 11, and there you can see on our 72-hour forecast it approaching the coast during the afternoon on Sunday. And then as we go into Monday morning, still very heavy rain over south central and southeast Louisiana, and even Monday afternoon, we can see that tail of moisture, how that extends into the Gulf of Mexico. So it's bad early, but downpours are still going to be possible Monday and maybe even into Tuesday, depending on how the storm eventually begins to track. As far as rainfall potential goes, the chance for severe flooding across parts of the area is possible. I don't like to pinpoint rain during a hurricane. I mean, somebody's going to get too much rain. Let's put it to you that way, and let's hope we can limit it to not such a widespread area. But undoubtedly, flooding is going to be a possibility. The forecast is for Ida to reach the coast as a Category 4 hurricane. How rare is it? It's extremely rare, which means there's always the possibility it might not happen. We've only had one instance of Category 5 winds in Louisiana. That was in Lower Plaquemines Parish in 1969. And then we've had 4 category landfalls since 1851. That's it. Last Island in 1856, the Chenier Caminada in 1893, Betsy in 65, and just last year, Laura. 150 mile per hour category 4 Laura into the Lake Charles area. If this does strike Terrebonne Parish as a category 4, it will be the strongest hurricane to hit Terrebonne Parish since Hurricane Betsy in 1965. Stay ahead of the weather with our Fox 8 weather app. We're streaming our Fox 8 coverage live on there now. We will be on with you the rest of the day. And so that is not going to be changing. So that's how things are looking right now. Just wanted to give you a quick update on Facebook, guys. I'll be on there commenting later. Zach is on the air. Bruce is there as well. So be sure to tune in to them. We'll carry you through the storm, whatever it brings us. All I know is we'll be on the backside of this thing by early next week. Stay safe. Listen to your emergency management office. Take heed if you're asked to evacuate. Otherwise, shelter in place and be prepared to ride out whatever is ahead over the next 24 to 48 hours. I'm Chief Meteorologist David Bernard. I'll see you a little bit later on Fox 8.